outpouring from the Leviathans. I'm sold on Morgan Le Fay as a god. I'm not going to say that she's not incredibly strong. I think she is. She is going to be a mainstay here in the SPL, but I think that there are some glaring weaknesses in this draft that the Kings have that have been further put to light by this Leviathans lineup. I'm very concerned with their ability to make a comeback. If they fall behind, the Kings that is, at any point, I don't think their comeback mechanics are really there.
I'm curious about your thoughts. You just said Morgan Le Fay is going to be around, sticking around. Whether or not she's first pick worthy was what I was going to ask you, but it seems like we're ready to get into the game. The Kings are going to have to prove it themselves. Let's go down to Dave and Aggro to take us through this one.
Gore, it's one of the most anticipated weekends of the SPL that I can remember here in recent memory. The Camelot Kings up against the Leviathans. It's Dolson, Aggro, and Doug.
For him, like he created space for Paul. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, it's a pick that Zatman's comfortable with in this Hachiman. So if the 1-2 punch of Hachiman plus Fafnir can provide some presence over there for the Leviathans, certainly be a good start to this new look at this roster. But now it's time, I think, to shift our focus on here towards the mid lane. Not a roster swap, but a god pool increase for the mid laners here in the SPL. Morgan Le Fay officially available, and the first game she's available, she's going to get to find some presence here in the mid lane as Panatom and Shinto actually chasing down Captain Twig. And this one's a pretty easy chase down, but the damage is there from Shinto over the wall, and first blood to the Baba Yaga.
Needed every inch of that wild magic, but she got it. That's first blood there, and just not quite enough fight damage there from the Morgan Le Fay, and that's being aggressive around the Greater Scorpion on the right-hand side in order to try and set it up.
Uh-oh, Netrioid 2v1 here will drop down the ultimate, but won't save his life, and Zatman collapses on in, and down goes Netrioid, so some pressure, the 1-2 punch, and Zatman on the board for the first time as a member of the Leviathans.
Love it, and him and Rongyu on perfect sync. I mean, just a bit of disrespect there from Netrioid, did not respect in order to try and make this dive a little bit better. Runic Shield would also be great up against the Sobek and Geb, make sure that they aren't doing nearly as much damage, particularly that Sobek. Taking away that base power makes a big difference.
Mantings gets disarmed here, but there's a sudden engage over onto Genetics, who will try to get away here, but the re-dive is just too good, and Shinto gifted another kill, and now this Baba Yaga 2-0 here, and the Leviathans find themselves about 1,000 gold ahead, so certainly not backbreaking, but they're on the right track.
And that's why I think this Leviathans draft is so interesting, because they know the Kings are trying to scale, but they've picked a scaling mid laner as well.
And there's extra dive now onto Big Man Tings, the drop kick against the wall, and Shinto on a killing spree. This 1-2, I wouldn't say punch, but it's been kick with Panatom. It's just been so effective, and that shows you where you can smooth over some of those early.
Until that's done, I don't really think that he puts that much threat onto this Gilgamesh Orc Cullen, so I'm not surprised to see him play aggressive.
Uh-oh, immobile is the Morgan Le Fay, and you're going to have to use both of your actives to stay alive. Genetics tosses a shield out towards BMT as well. That'll keep the Morgan Le Fay in the fight. Panatom with the execute ultimate ends up getting the kill onto the Kings mid laner. Now the dive comes in, and it's Panatom with the double. Shinto's got his fourth. And the Atlantis Leviathans roll over the Camelot Kings in a pretty lopsided fight.
Variety TP's in and is like, where is everyone? Am I late to the party? And the answer is, yeah, you're late to the party. Now he's going to have to just try and delay on this Gold Fury, but it's going to cost him his ultimate at the very least. I love the play here from the Leviathans, because this is really taking what the Kings have been doing as of late, completely different area of the team fight, because the Cardinal Sin there for the Kings, and it's tough because of the positioning of that fight.
Yep.
But Netrioid can't use all this to get to Big Man and then find themselves on Netrioid's doorstep. That's the worst case scenario.
Yarkor's found a double knockup here on the right side of the map. It's the driving strike. It's not a Hercules in this game, but it's a dash forward from Yarkor there as Variety lurks in the waters here. Twig down beneath the tier 1 tower. It is a 3 versus 3 at the time, but look at the rotations in. Shinto the first to join into the party. Genetics got a 3-man Cataclysm on the backside. This is a fight the Camelot Kings have found some good setup. Tusky flies on in, roots a couple members of the Leviathans in place, but now the transformation from Rongyu could sow some discord.
And Twig did not get the memo. He was still going forward as the rest of the Kings on heavy retreat, but Genetics not allowed to let go. Rongyu with another great stun.
Plenty of damage on the rest of the Leviathans that are there, and Shinto's got a double 6-0-2 on the Baba Yaga. 18 minutes in, 9-0 are the Leviathans, 6 of them on their mid laner. Interesting opportunity here for the Leviathans to make a call, and FG is that call.
Yeah, I mean, big man's got ult and relics, but he's got no one to support him, so this FG likely to go down. Feels like all is right in the world again, doesn't it? I mean,
we were concerned about this team synergizing. I don't know if anyone really was. Maybe we weren't concerned about this team synergizing.
It's just like Shinto, someone who's walking alone through the jungle,
maybe
or
a Robin, or
sneaks through.
Artemis.
It's going to be Netrioid.
Yeah, it's a hammer onto Netrioid, and here's Yarkor on the leap on through. Tusky gets sent on out, but look at the range damage, and look at the leap on the Artemis, the drive on out from Yarkor, and then the roar to put him in the dirt. And the Leviathans have baited the trap well, and it's Netrioid who springs it.
But again, it's Rongu on a perfect long-range stun onto this Morgan Le Fay, who's got to go up into the ultimate, and it just does not matter. 11-0 in the kill department right now.
And there are no carries for the next 40 seconds at least. In the Atlantis Leviathans, they can smell blood. The left side Phoenix still stands, but Captain Twig has to receive the shield, and he'll back away from the rest of this fight. Let's make sure to clean up the dust here on the back end. The Leviathans get the Phoenix down. And that stands. That one's a 10 out of 10, and nobody will tell me otherwise. Thank you very much. Leviathans get the FG.
You're welcome.
Look, this one spiraled, hasn't it? It's 11-0. I did not expect the Camelot Kings to get blanked, right? I mean, this was supposed to be a pretty competitive matchup here, but the Leviathans have just looked like absolutely different animals here in game number 1. Right side Phoenix stands for the time being. I'm not sure the Kings can say much about it. Panatom will confirm that thought. It's a jump onto big man Tings. Morgan Le Fay starts things off here in Season 8, 0-4. Down goes Netrioid to also return to 0-4. Genetics dies to 0-3, and it looks like Variety, unless he dies here, will be the only one undying on the Camelot Kings. Leviathans will take game 1.
Variety will end up taking the death, and Zapman caps his Leviathans debut with a triple kill, 5-0-7 for him. And a 16-0 performance from this team.
That this time around, it is still going to slightly favor the Leviathans, I think, because their CC is a little bit easier to execute on. When you take a peek at the Kings draft, it's single target CC from Fafnir, single target CC from Fenrir, and then finally, who's likely going to act as the primary beads burner for this draft, the Cerberus with the Stygian Torment. It's all about this Cerberus. If he can burn off those relics, all of a sudden Fafnir and Fenrir are a much larger threat.
Well, I'll give you one more thing to look out for. 3 more kills for Zapman, and he'll get his 2,000th career kill. Let's see if he can get it this game after they rolled over the Kings in game 1, or the Kings back bounce. Dave, take it away.
Well, if it's anything like game number 1, Zapman's got a real good shot on grabbing those few kills here in game number 2. Dolson, Aggro, and Doug still bringing you the action. Shinto gets back.
At no point was Netrioid stealing away Zap's lane Scorpion.
No.
In game 1. Very different look.
It's a different look, and look at this. Captain Twig exerts some early pressure. It's Rongu who gets stunned down, and the Ragnarok is in as well. A nice Cataclysm counters out the Brutalize, but it's not enough. His big man Tings with through space and time gets the damage, but now Shinto rotates in, turns into a house, and gets a kill onto Twig.
Genetics is already de-transformed, and Zap is in a great spot to pinch onto him. Mounted Archery hits all 3.
Oh, and he gets an auto attack on the end of it as well. But now he's got to dodge the snipes. 1 and 2 both hit, and Netrioid returns the favor. It's a 2-2 split across the board. Both Hunters grab a kill. Both mid laners grab a kill as well.
And both I think it's a great pick.
It is a great pick for Variety right now. And so if the Camelot Kings are able to play around that, maybe here with Captain Twig rotating on towards the right. Yarkor does have beads, also has the ultimate, catches it out onto Captain Twig. Genetics is rotating over as well. Could be a tower dive, but the tower dive won't be necessary. A couple ultimates used, but it confirms the kill, and down goes the King Arthur.
Great patience there from Twig and Variety. Hold their ultimates till a little bit later, but Netrioid, he might be ejecting, but he's going to get a portal right away!
Oh, big man Tings with the big brain play, and the portal out keeps Netrioid alive. Charon's Coin, Soul Gem, and Soul Reaver, so both of these mid laners, and a 2-level lead for big man Tings could be some big burst damage, but the collapse might be in from the Camelot Kings. They jump over the wall, grab the Ragnarok on Arangi, but the Geb survives yet again. And now Panatom into the backline. Zapman will complete the kill over onto 1, but then it's the immediate return kill by Netrioid. Both Hunters getting involved here. Stygian Torment onto Arangi, and the Geb, he's rolling out yet again. Luckily, Variety burns him down.
But Shinto's got to do the damage now, up into the house, and everyone is grouped from the Kings. Shinto raining fire on the Kings.
That is a dream ultimate for Shinto, but look at that big man Tings turns around some damage, but it's a double from the Baba Yaga. Shinto hoping and praying that someone had stuck around a little bit further. 3-for-3 trade across the board. Zapman and Shinto still alive. It's big man Tings and Genetics on the other side.
With that ultimate, And I don't know how that's going to change for the Kings. They've got to maybe save some of these ultimates, save that through space and time in order to drop everyone directly onto Shinto in melee range once he goes up into that ult. Because once you're in it, you're putting out good damage, but that's about it.
Captain Twig is going to get collapsed on here by 3 members of the Leviathans, and that'll be pretty simple. Probably the most simple kill we've seen so far here this game. And Zapman having a great performance, and they did what they came to do.
And the first sign of some lack of synergy right there for the Leviathans. Zap seemed to want to stay on that Gold Fury. The rest of them pretty interested in getting off of it at that point. And for good reason, because Zap was getting low.
Now the Camelot Kings restart the Gold Fury and confirm the Gold Fury. Yarkor gets stunned down right at the right time and then into the portal as well. And Zap can't really step up. He's got the ultimate, but he's beneath half HP here. Though if he stays far enough in the back line, he could make a difference here in this fight. Panatom dancing big man Tings around his own portal who can't make his way on through. And then the wind of Shamash puts him in the dirt. And the Giannis, no mobility there on that one, and the Leviathans grab a quick kill.
What a play from Panatom, man. He just plays bouncer on the outside of that portal and make sure that big man has been denied entry.
Oh, and it's a double kick in the back line, and the big setup from the Leviathans is their follow-up. Yarkor says yes, and Shinto still has that ultimate. Look for the Camelot Kings to maybe funnel forward here. Snipes connecting onto the King Arthur, but not enough, and now it's the Ragnarok from Captain Twig to bring him right back into range, and Netrioid gets another.
And Shinto just tries to dissuade anything further, but the Kings weren't interested anyways. They got to do their damage in the next team fight.
Zapman will look to continue that around this FG.
He's on the left, though.
So quick, burning away. You're right. Zapman won't be here for this fight. So if the Leviathans want to contest, which I'm sure they do, they've got to do it without their hunter. Captain Twig has found a double stun on the back of this FG. The FG is low here. Stygian Torment used, but Panatom drops right back down, and the Camelot Kings secure the FG, but Panatom took a whole lot of damage in there on the contest, and the Brutalized from Captain Twig finalizes the kill.
And the portals for big man puts him in a perfect position to cut him off. Wrong you toast. No way he gets away, and Shinto might be next.
Netroid's the one who picks up that kill, and now Zapman does join the fight here. Big man Tings has got one in this fight as well as Yarkor goes down. It's only the carries for the Leviathans right now, and the death timer's right around that 30-second mark, so it's important that Shinto and Zap stay alive. And stay alive they do.
Not a whole lot of urgency, it felt like. Zapman's doing Draugr on the left side of the map. That he's not going to be a part of that team fight. Really great FG pull there from the Kings.
Oh, good hammer from Genetics. That could put Shinto in an awkward spot. Zapman gets enough damage to kill off Captain Twig, though, but now the mid lane Phoenix starts to get siege. But the reinforcements are in from the Leviathans, and it's big man Tings who has to use the portal to get out and away, but Panatom, he wants to leap right on back in. Big man Tings escapes for the time being, but it's half health across the board for the Kings.
Grongyu slowly walking in, gets his Cataclysm off, but the portal's good. Netrioid still standing a little bit longer.
And Netrioid's got the double, and now it's Grongyu and Yarkor. It's a shuffle. It's a revolving door for the Leviathans on defense right now.
And it's also this build from Big Man, very different than the Heroin Dianas build, but it is letting him really hit tanks hard in comparison to what you would normally see from the Giannis.
Captain Twig alone behind the Leviathans, and he's found Zapman, and Zapman has to dash forward, but then immediately leaves the rest of this fight. Stygian Torment's not enough, but the through space and time is, and it's big man Tings back on the board. And now it's a bit of a split team fight, but the Leviathans, they've got a second wind in this engagement. They've got range damage from Shinto, and that's enough to push the Kings back.
Yeah, good damage from Shinto and 1v3 in the back line, where Yarkor is there with his carries trying to peel away the Cerberus.
On the Cerberus, I need to help out with a kill here on the Panatom, or maybe not, as big man Tings has plenty of damage there. There is the Cerberus. The
shield.
Panatom, he continues to live here, but the portal on the other end all but secures his demise, and it's big man Tings with his 6th of the game. Now it's time for the Camelot Kings mid laner to put on a bit of a show. The right side Phoenix being sieged here. It's a beautiful double ultimate from Grongyu, and Captain Twig has to leave. Now Shinto gets stunned over as well. Snipes yet again from Netrioid, but the right side Phoenix is already down.
The Leviathans are so worried about this long range damage from the Kings. Maybe if the Leviathans can compact these team fights, they'll go a little better.
What's got to happen now, right? I mean, this is the fight where the Leviathans have to make that change. Grongyu gets a 3-man knockup, but there's nothing on the follow-up front. And now the third and final Phoenix will go down. Shinto has to use his ultimate here as well. And look at the delay that the Camelot Kings are bringing out. They've slowed things down here. Some fire reaching the backline. Netrioid rolls on out here. Panatom jumps on in, onto the AD carry, and nearly enough damage from Shinto. Variety taken low, but there's a big stun on the other side, and big man Tings completes the kill on the Panatom, and now it's Captain Twig with the re-jump on him, but Zapman, he's returning damage, he's got the stun, and down goes Twig.
But you gotta worry about these fire minions. 3 waves coming in, but the Leviathans know they need some kills here.
Yeah, Yarkor needs to chase this one down. Variety will run away. Genetics could re-engage here as well.
Stuck.
Look at this, Variety's in behind. He's found Shinto. Zapman can't get back in through the base, and the fire
Variety's done with this one.
Variety might just end this game, and the Camelot Kings send us to a game 3.
Just much better execution from the Kings this time around. The adjustment in picks and bans makes a huge difference.
Hopefully you sit tight, grab yourselves a drink, grab yourselves a snack. You got a couple of minutes. We'll be right back with game number 3. That's the most serious thing he said in like 5 minutes. I'm going to take it. That's going to be exactly what it is. Game number 3. Let's get into it.
It's been absolutely unbearable here on the break. Not only do we want to get into game 3, but Mifflin has watched like 3 episodes of Letterkenny and is not letting us forget about it. Make sure to watch that show. By the way, Dolson aggro. So this is a big one for Yarkor.
Yeah, I'm just so surprised the Leviathans first picked it. They banned the Fafnir in order to first pick the Odin. I was surprised.
Panatom could follow up with a stun, and stun he does. Now Variety brutalized on down, and that is just so simple for the Leviathans. And it feels like that, you know, Variety didn't necessarily do anything wrong. One isn't there when there's an on her in that lane.
And a Ho Yi.
And a Ho Yi. So part of me wants to see some fireworks, but with some of the pacing of this game, I'm not sure we'll see them. Wall from Genetics will not slow down. Panatom and the drop kick from Captain Twig, not enough either. Now it's the Ragnarok right back in. Goodbye, Captain Twig. Panatom's taking chunky damage, though, from the rest of the Camelot Kings that are in there on the back line, and it's Yarkor getting burned away, but Shinto looking to do some more of the same. Variety with Lord of the Afterlife tries to close the gap in the wall. Nearly perfect, but not perfect enough.
Odin still falls, and Shinto has to jump away, no mana. And look at this, the Hunters have joined the fray. Both Zapman and Netriot are here, but that's it. It's solo laner value for it, then getting picked up and killed guaranteed. Definitely a misuse of that relic there from the jungler.
What do you know, we've had so much conversation around, you know, this Baba Yaga and scale potential, and I'll hold that thought, see what happens to Netriot here. He's on the wrong side of this lane. That means there's a couple leaps ready to chase him on down. Brutalize nearly gets it there. It's a good old-fashioned auto attack on the other end. They'll get Panatom back on the board here. 201. That's what the Merlin looked like kind of compared to this Baba Yaga. You know, definitely needs some itemization to start feeling comfortable.
Yeah, spikes a little bit earlier than the Baba, I would say, but still has good late-game potential as Variety once again getting dove. He's used the beads. Wrongyu has the ultimate. Should be pretty simple from here.
Wrongyu grabs.
Oh, no, not like
Yarkor
this.
with the up-down doesn't have the damage. Luckily, Panatom is there as a bit of an insurance policy. And so the Leviathans get away with one, but I'm not sure Shinto's going to be able to do the same. It's a 3-man rotation to the right, and then a 3-man collapse on mid. Variety down once more.
Could end up being difficult.
Gold Fury started up now by the Leviathans. The Camelot Kings are aware something's happening here, but Yarkor's going to drop the cage. The Octagon, as Gore wants me to call it. That counts. And enough space created by the front line and the jungler to win the Gold Fury and win a kill on the other end. Netriot had his beads there, chose not to use them. Then down goes the Hunter, and here comes the re-dive from the Leviathans. I'm not sure there's a kill on the other end. They got the Gold Fury, they got the Hunter.
And it's so unfortunate for Netriot
that we've seen so far in the game. Or it's been kind of a passive 1,500 gold lead. This is really where the Leviathans break things open. They get the Gold Fury, they get the kill, and maybe some gold here. But Genetics and Variety are trying to put up a defense around this tier 1 tower. The Wrongyu, Zapman, and Panatom could have enough damage to try to turn this around. There's a Pyromancer on right, and the Camelot Kings are able to secure this one. Wrongyu tanking up the tower, and now the fight breaks out on the left here as well. Stygian Torment onto Genetics, who gets pulled right back into the awaiting arms of Zapman. Shards of Ice. That's not going to confirm a kill. There's a kill happening on a Yarkor on the right here as well. Variety looks like he'll be safe, but can't say the same for Panatom. And there's another kill that ends up going down. 3 for 2. Leviathans ahead for the time being.
Zap still here, and with Aegis and on her also not great at blocking down those walls because he has some of the lower base attack speed, but the build will help out.
Wow, Panatom aggressive here. The other side as well as the rest of the Leviathans, but Genetics, he doesn't have a leg to stand on here. The Fire Giant was started up there, and the Leviathan started it up under that condition. You got to imagine there might be one on the back end here, and could get secured if Variety also goes down, but Netriot sends the Desert Fury flying. That might slow down the Leviathans.
Such a difference in the front line in this game for the Kings in comparison to Game 2, where Genetics and Variety in particular were controlling a ton of space. This time, they're the ones getting control.
Wrongyu blinks to the right here, burning away at Variety. Then the follow-up stun for Panatom is in as well. Captain Twig's got to leave. Zapman leaps on forward, nearly takes some damage from Big Man Tings there, who's still full HP, but Yarkor has got something else in mind. All the movement used away from this Odin. And this is tricky, though, for the Leviathans.
Their build.
They're doing it.
But they're letting Shinto be the zone because they're leveraging his health pool more than theirs. But I think they need his DPS on FG.
Shinto has all of his actives, but does not have his ultimate. There's a freeze on through from Genetics. Was the bait and switch there? Yes, it was. Panatom, is he going to survive? No, he's not. Captain Twig has to jump back in. And so now Panatom is down, so is Genetics. But it looks like the Leviathans have had their fill on this one, and the FG will live on.
I mean, it feels really bad.
The Camelot Kings are starting up the FG. There is a ward here, and that means the Leviathans drop the Fury, start to rotate here towards the right, and the Fire Giant has been dropped over there as well. But look at the jump in. It's onto Yarkor, who doesn't take nearly enough damage here. Captain Twig Ragnarok's back into the awaiting arms of Zapman, and the first kill is fallen.
Variety's on top of Zap, but Shinto's there to peel for him. And look at the work that the front line is doing right now for the Leviathans. Netrioid already down.
The flying elbows all just jumping in on the Camelot Kings, and Netrioid is the second kill in this fight. Now Genetics is going to get run down as well. Another leap is on in. That would have been a sweet ricochet from Zapman, just shy from connecting for the kill, and Yarkor should be here to get one. If nothing else, Genetics is out of the fight. Panatom ends up getting the kill into Genetics. So it's Big Man Ting's Variety, the last two alive. You got to imagine this is an FG pull.
And you know, I kept thinking all this prioritization onto the Big Man just had to use the beads. A great initiation by Rongyu, and it only cost him a stun and his ultimate to get Big Man's beads, and no Geb this time around, so we'll see how he does.
Right side Phoenix might be a little bit better for the Leviathans. Jump on in, and goodbye Genetics, and the Leviathans have found the opening kill. Variety has a few tethered in there. Yarkor has dropped the Octagon, but the right side Phoenix still stands strong. You need a little bit more damage here if you're the Leviathans, but don't quite have the health bars or the engage to get it done. Maybe you wait another wave.
Jump in from Panatom, nearly got a little bit more, but now you got 3 sets of beads down among 2 living in particular on the King side.
Everyone from the Kings that's alive has their ultimate. First one gets used here, and it's Captain Twig, and then the leaps away this time from the Leviathans are going to slow this down even further. Shinto sends some damage flying Netrioid's way, courtesy of the house this time around, but the Camelot Kings have stayed alive, and that's the most important thing here. And similar to what we've seen in other games, Fire Giant started up the FG just yet. Zapman pulls back and does start up the FG with the help of Rongyu this time. Panatom still dancing around up front. We're about to hit 30 minutes in the game, so Enhanced Fire Giant will be here by the time this one gets taken down. And that one's difficult to fight back up against. Yarkor takes the stun here. Captain Twig lurking over the wall as well, but now Panatom calls him on it. It's the double jump on in, but Twig will leap away to safety. Has FG been reset? Yes, it has.
Netrioid still has to use the beats, though. Panatom gets value out of that ultimate after all. Was trying to call the bluff again.
Whoa, Zapman is low here. So is Shinto. The carries for the Leviathans. They've got to leave, and Variety's got something else in mind. Rongyu desperately peeling out for his mid laner here, but look at the burst damage as Panatom turns the corner. Bye-bye, Variety. And now the re-engage is in for the Leviathans.
Big ult from Rongyu gets Netrioid sent back, but he still has the jump, but he's got to contend with Shinto's ultimate. And in fact, I think Fire just killed Shinto.
Must have been Fire Giant because Netrioid's all the way over here. Now Big Man Tings has got a kill on the Panatom as well. Zapman goes low, uses the Aegis, leaps away.
Whoa.
Oh, and the wall from Genetics locks him in. Netrioid's got the double kill. The turnaround is in, and the Camelot Kings are up front.
So it's a bit of a miscommunication and a misplay there from the Leviathans, as now it's Yarkor, who was just trying to clear out this wave. Mantle Stun bought him his life here because if Tings had been able to full channel that flamethrower, I don't think Yarkor lives. But the Leviathans do a good job. They bait the Kings much better on defense. You're seeing that here.
That said, Camelot Kings still get the Phoenix, still have a chance for another Phoenix. Just a little bit less time on the buff, but here comes the leap from the Leviathans. Yarkor left alone in the back line. The cage got no one except for maybe Captain Twig, but Yarkor will survive.
Big Man's in.
The same for Panatom. Oh, Zapman gets the kill from range, and Panatom survives. Down goes Twig as well, and it's the siege gone wrong as the Leviathans get 2.
And Shinto still has plenty of damage in the pocket, literally, with the potion, but with all these walls and the pillars from the Kings, can't imagine this siege is going to continue, or the chase, I should say, is going to continue for the Leviathans.
Put on here, the Fire Giant is still up, but somebody's got to go back. And for right now, it's Rongyu. That's going to give the Camelot Kings an effective 4v5 around this FG.
But they know that Rongyu can't push this wave, and he can't, and he's not. He's not going to stick around and do nothing on that left side, which is smart. But what is the call here from the Leviathans? Are we losing left side Phoenix to keep EFG up?
They might, and that might be the call right now because Rongyu has joined The right side fight, Netruid. He gets Ragnaroked and caged in, and then Zapman is there to put him down finally. But Zapman left on in the backline. It looks like Variety will get this kill, so both hunters are dead. Panatom jumps back to the backline here. It's a 1-for-1 trade as we stand, but Rongyu's got a little bit more health, burning away on Variety.
Jump in from Twig. Rongyu gets CC'd, but still not enough in order to knock him down. ADC for ADC is really not too bad. Panatom, yeah, gotta leave the Titan. I don't think so. I think that Phoenix is dead.
Phoenix
Big
dies
mistake.
yet again. Genetics throws up the wall. Look at Rongyu though. He's locked into place, and it's another impactful wall from Genetics. His big man Tings will notch another kill here into this game. Yarkor running away desperately. Genetics just a few seconds away from that lockdown cooldown. Yarkor jumps on in, uses some of that gap close, but an impale from Netruid keeps him at bay.
The thing that I'm noticing is that they don't seem to have that phantom cooldown.
Fire wave, oh my.
Oh yeah, they've got two to worry about. They can't stick around.
There's two big fire waves pouring into the base of the Leviathans. Can the Camelot Kings just delay the backs here? The Leviathans, they've got to get back to base and deal with some of the waves that have found their way in. It's only 2 waves that'll make its way onto the Titan, but the rest of the Camelot Kings, they're sensing blood in the water. Shinto's been left out to dry. And big man Tings burns them down. The fire minions work into the Titan, and it's almost a sure thing at this point on the back end of a double kill and some macro play from the Camelot Kings. The Kings will take it in 3.
Man, what a fun game that gets ended by the fun police that are minions, man. You gotta clear them to get your gold and your experience. You gotta kill them to make sure you don't lose the game.